Morning, Aries. This is for the rest of September 2021. I will be using the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor for the general energy for September for the reading today. And they have not had me pick the other cards yet. Let's start with these. As usual, if this is not your type of prayer, please feel free to skip ahead, fast forward. Again, I say this prayer for your protection as well as my own. So with that, I'll get started. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the power and the kingdom and the glory forever and ever. Heavenly Father, please send your heavenly angels to surround and protect this space, to be with and protect anyone who should watch these videos. Please empty me, Heavenly Father, from all previous ideas, thoughts, and notions, so that I might be an empty vessel for you to fill with your light and your love, and so that I may live clear messages of the highest truth. I ask this Lord in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Please give us the energy for September. Didn't even get the question out. We have the number 34 and the number 45 for anyone that it has meaning for. Number 45 is the man holding a heart. And number 34, door to personal healing and happiness. So it looks like you've got an energy of some really great things coming in for you, Aries. Number 45, I will read them as they came out, of course. Man dealing with family, love, or emotions. This tender man sits with flowers all around, holding a heart in his hand. For a man, this signals a greater clarity about emotions and their purpose in your life. There could be a more balanced approach to family and love at this time, even if these have been confusing experiences for you in the past. For some, this card upright could signal the presence of a new man in your life, one who tends to be more thoughtful and aware. Whether or not this man is a love interest or a friend, he brings a high intention to help where personal projects, family, or home issues are concerned. Number 34. New beginnings in your personal life. Upright, this card is a harbinger of positive change. The beautiful light-filled door opens into a lush, rainbow-lit spring filled with vibrant lotus flowers. Whether you're working on some inner healing, such as breaking an addiction, or looking to make some external changes, such as finding a new place to live, this card signals that your life is opening up and new opportunities are about to appear. These changes you've been working on are ready to blossom with wonderful results, so make sure that you see your personal intentions through with continued action and optimistic expectations. It's a beautiful start. Okay. Aries, I was guided to two sets of cards for you here. Ooh, something is coming in really fast for you, Aries. I just heard a huge whooshing sound. For some reason. Ooh, this particular card is screaming at me. Okay. Aries, this is going to be your general energy. The Strength card. Being in your strength, learning strength. So September for you is going to be about finding new strength. Oh, you are finding new strength. They're saying that you are literally stepping into your strength. It is not about learning the lessons that will create strength anymore. It is now stepping into that strength, into what you've learned. The obstacle for September is the Ten of Cups. Wish fulfillment, happiness. But this is, for me, this is the couples card or the marriage and family card. This is, for some of you, it's going to be obstacles in the relationships that you already have and learning to overcome those. But this is also about, I get the impression that this is not so much about the outside and what's going on outside, but inside. So if you're already in a relationship, if you're already in a partnership, in a marriage, it's going to be about the belief systems that you have within that marriage that's going to either strengthen or weaken that. This is our Strength card, so this is about stepping into new ideas. Stepping into new ideas, because the way in which they showed me when they first got me to that you are stepping into your strength, in order to do that, we typically see the tower moments. We see the tower moments, and things are broken down, and we have a lot of, whether it's external warring going on or internal warring going on, there are things that have become the catalyst, and each of those things teach us new lessons, and through those things, we gain our strength. So this is, you have already stepped into your strength, they said. So now you are kind of processing these new ideas, going into this new one. And I'm getting the impression of, whereas normally the Ten of Cups is this beautiful card that means that everything is going to be perfect, it coming up in your obstacle position means that there's something that's holding you back from whatever your ideal of an ideal partnership or an ideal relationship is. So whatever that might be, whether it's belief systems in the relationships themselves or belief systems surrounding yourself and your ability to take those steps, or the person that you're partnered up with or looking at for that, taking those steps, whatever this is something internal. This is something that is, it is like the last piece of those things that you need to get rid of. Last, although there's something wrong with me saying the last. Okay, so I'm going to ask for clarification on that, and that would probably be why they had me pull those. What you're sending up into the universe. Okay, so the moon in reverse, the moon and its upright usually talks to me about being in their emotions. depending on where else in the card placement it is. This in the reverse is a lack of emotions. But it's not. This man is crying. He's like a lone wolf, but that lone wolf always strikes me as being the wrong thing to say about a wolf. Wolves are pack animals. They just are, and I won't go too much into the depth on that. But they're pack animals. They have mates, they have families, they have a whole pack they protect. You might see one that goes out searching for food or kind of scouting out the area, the protectors, but they're not really truly alone, even though they look that way. But in the reverse, Aries, I want more clarification on that one before I talk about it. And we're going to get a little bit here because this is what you've been sending out into the universe. This is what's coming in. Oh, the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So the Knight of Pentacles is, he's the one that fights for the stability. I just got through saying in another reading, if you want to know more in depth about that, you can watch the Aquarius reading, I believe it was, or the Capricorn. But they, actually I think it was the Capricorn. Pentacles to me are not just about money, it's about stability. So it's what money can bring. Money's just money, it's a symbol. Culture to culture. That's why European dollars are different than American dollars. They're just a symbol of what we use in order to get what makes us feel stable. The house, the cars, the trips, the whatever. This coming in the reverse, and again, I'm drawn to the moon. I'm also looking at it looks to me like he's holding both a pentacle, but he's also holding baby's breath as covering that pentacle. And typically you see baby's breath. Baby's breath is innocence. I believe it stands for innocence and purity in flowers. I don't know if you can see it right there, but his pentacle is almost covered with this arrangement of flowers. It looks like baby's breath to me. And then he's under the moon. So it's like everything is I get the words everything is twisted. I don't know what that means. Okay, energy you're bringing in from the past. The Chariot. So the feeling of feeling stuck. This is the most recent past. So you've recently been feeling very stuck. Like there's no forward movement. Like nothing is moving forward. Nothing is going forward. Nothing is being created in your life. Nothing new is happening in your life. You're just feeling very stuck. And not just stuck in general, but I'm noticing how this Chariot is in the fog, like covered in fog. You know how fog gets really thick and you can't see 2 feet in front of you? That's kind of what it feels like. Interesting. what this brought back for you, Aries, was the ability to learn to trust the universe. You knew that you were stuck, but in having to stand stuck and stay still, you learn to trust. That is bringing forward for you that trust in the universe is the Ace of Pentacles. Now see here, there's still the baby's breath, that innocence, that purity, that stability is there, but it's not covering the pentacle at all. But I also want to draw your eye to, now I live in a place in Arizona. There's a town called Sedona. There's a place, I think it's called Standing Rock, and there's a tradition there. For whatever reason, people are compelled to put these stones standing on top of each other, very much like this, in which you would not think that they could stand. Like you will see trees with it, like the branch is not that thick, it's just a branch, and yet somehow someone balanced 4 or 5 stones on top of each other in the branch. Sometimes the branches are no thicker than my finger, or 2 fingers maybe, with these stones, and it's the whole area is surrounded with them. And I always attach that to an act of faith. It defies the odds of physics, it defies gravity, and yet it still stands. It defies everything we think we know about what should happen, and yet there they are, all over the place. And yet people still feel compelled to do them non-stop. And that is what I'm noticing. This chariot bringing forth this act of faith, and upon this act of faith is standing your pentacle. And it's done without any regret, without any guile, without any of the normal trappings that you might be afraid of that would happen. It's done with complete innocence and done with a pure heart. And it is a beautiful thing to bring forward. That's what you're energetically bringing forward from the experiences. But you're still having, this is all interconnected. This energy that you're going through, or that you have put out there, where you are feeling so alone, where you're feeling like crying, where you're feeling like completely emotional, and like you have to be this lone wolf without understanding that your pack is just, you'll find your pack. It's not very far away. They never are. But you've completely, just like you felt so alone for so long, that even though this beautiful experience is coming through, because the truth of the experience, because of the actual 3D reality of what's going on, so much of this has gone on that even though the pentacle is here, even though this offer of it is coming through, you might be able to see something pure, but you're not seeing the pentacle. You're not feeling the stability from it. That's what it feels like. It feels like you're not feeling the stability from it. You have this offer, and it is here, and the pentacle is there, but you're so caught up the manifestation of it. It's almost like normally when we manifest something, we get exactly what we manifested. You wanted to be alone, you're alone. Only we didn't really want to be, right, Aries? You didn't. I'm a Taurus, but you didn't really want to be alone, right? But through your words, whether you're saying, I want to, I'm going to do this alone, I can handle this alone, I am alone, through your words and your feelings of being alone, you manifest what happens next. And it's almost like God said, that is not for you. I'm telling you that is not for you. And he put you in this rest period, and kind of surrounded you with all this fog. And so yes, it felt like you were alone, but out of it, because you had faith, because you're having faith in what's coming forward, he's saying, okay, here it is. Now let me show you the pentacle underneath. Now let's take these flowers and put them where they belong and put this wreath around it. Now let me show you what's happening. This is September is the Ace. You're coming out of this stagnant, stuck, I'm not moving anywhere energy into this beautiful, and the only thing you had to do was trust, into this beautiful energy. But you still have this obstacle. This obstacle is that you're still manifesting this aloneness, and what it's bringing forth is not a direct it's alone, but it's an inability to see the stability that's right there, the pentacle that's right there, and somehow that has to do with this. And now I'm going to ask for the clarification cards. Oh, they want me to look at this one. Oh, Ace of Cups. So you have your 10 of Cups. And what God is trying to manifest for you is your Ace of Cups. You just have to decide if you want it. And there is a thing there about you deciding if you actually want it. And for those of you that are already in a relationship, again, this is going to be about learning to communicate, learning to figure out what you want to do, how you want to do, what your belief systems are. Because over time, even if you're in a marriage, maybe you went into the marriage thinking that you didn't ever want kids, but now your partner does. And you have to reevaluate everything. And you kind of, maybe you do, maybe you don't. You're thinking about it. Maybe you do want kids all of a sudden. And is that okay? Is it okay to say to the world and to everybody else or to your boss, and I'm thinking specifically, let's say you're a female, right? And you took this job and you're in corporate, and whether we like to believe it or not, and people can say it all they want, women are still judged on this. So, maybe you took that position and your boss loved the fact that you never wanted kids, right? You and your husband were good. Well, now all of a sudden, maybe he's decided he wants a few. He's gotten a few years on him and he wants a few kids, or he wants a kid. And you're thinking about it. And, for you, you're kind of thinking about it too, but you're not sure. And all of a sudden, you change your mind, you want kids, but it's going to cause problems at work. So that can cause this. You see what I'm saying? So it can make you feel alone and isolated, like no one's going to understand, like you're having trouble. You might have your spouse there, but they don't understand exactly what you're going to be going through. Well, as you manifest that sort of energy, it produces more of this, and you fail to see the opportunity. You fail to see the pentacle in front of you, a new opportunity that's being brought forth. Whereas in it is just a story on this part of it, okay? If this resonates for somebody, I might be picking up on a specific energy, but this is a general reading. But the advice for that person that I might be picking up for, that female, would be that if she can let her husband in on her stuff, instead express her emotions, talk about them, and then release them, and start manifesting instead. Start manifesting this instead. Start manifesting this Ace of Cups, this dream, this wish fulfillment. Start manifesting the baby. Focus on that. Start manifesting what you want to do with your time, how you want to do it. How much time do you want to spend with the child? Yes, you may want one, but if you never saw yourself with one, maybe you don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. Maybe you only want to work, 25 hours instead of 50 hours. Or maybe you want to work a full-time job and have a nanny, but have, time with the kid on the weekends. So it's up to you, it's up to the two of you to define how that will look. And then once you define that, once you change this and you define what you want and how that will look, then the universe can bring forth that pentacle, that beautiful new sense of stability, and then you can have what you want. Now, for those of you that are single, though, there is a question up in the air for the Aries for the month of September, and God wants me to emphasize, this doesn't mean it's going to be the last time this question will ever be asked of you. If you say no, if you say, oh no, I don't want love right now, okay? But you have to understand that there's no two cups are ever going to be alike, right? Whatever opportunity he might be planning for you, however that's going to look for you, and that holds true with the job and the baby. For this woman, they could wait till next year to have the baby, but then that opportunity will be different, because the world keeps moving. It doesn't stop for us. It doesn't just stand still. That's why manifesting. That's why thinking about what we want, knowing. Actually, they would rather I use this term. Whatever religion you are, Christianity has some great words of wisdom, some wonderful seeds of wisdom, and one of those is know thyself. There's a whole little thing in the Bible, I don't remember exactly what it is off the top of my head, but it talks about knowing yourself. And there's many, many words of wisdom throughout history that talk about knowing yourself. Because if you know yourself, if you know yourself truly, then other people can't change your mind. They can't manipulate you, because you're going to see it for what it is. If you know yourself, then you can fight off spiritual attacks even. Because if something that isn't you says something in your head, even though it may feel like it's coming from you, it may sound like it's coming from you, the depression feels like yours, the energy feels like yours, even if you're a hyper empath. If you know yourself and you know that that's not how I feel about X person, or that's not my language, that's not what I would say, that's not my self-talk, then you can dismiss that. You can say, no, that's not me. No. Okay? But knowing yourself also means what you're bringing to you, what you're bringing forward. So if you know yourself, now we get into the quantum physics and the science of it, the laws of the universe. If you know yourself and know what you want, then you're only going to be putting forth that self-talk, which will bring forth to you through quantum entanglement what you want. So the emphasis is on the fact that we're going into these, we have these cycles, right? For anyone on this cycle with me, or on this wavelength with me. And that wavelengths are not exclusive to astrological signs. We all have this different wavelengths based on a lot of different factors. That'll be a whole other video. But right now, I'm talking to anyone who's on this kind of vibe. If you resonate with my videos, if you vibe with me, you're probably on this wavelength. If you notice that usually around late summer into fall and early winter, you have a lot of struggles, or you get stuck, things don't move forward, you're probably on this wavelength. This, for those of us in that wavelength, it ends about October 31st. October 31st, the new cycle starts. This is when we rest, we start putting forth new seeds in terms of ideas and thoughts that will influence and affect our lives for the upcoming year. And of course in spring, in winter and spring, we'll be planting different types of harvest to bring forth new projects, new ideas throughout the year, etc., etc. So my point is that life does not stop. This is not the last offer. But do realize that if you see this cup in front of you, other people have to move forward. Other things in life have to move forward. Other job opportunities, other pentacles have to move forward. So no, it doesn't mean that this door is closed forever, but it does mean that right now, part of your rest period, part of your time, is to decide, do you want this? And so for those of you that are single, the question is, do you really want a relationship? Because the impression I'm getting is that there's been some yes, no's on that. On the one hand, you start manifesting this way and you say you might do, and then on the other hand, it's a no. For some of you, this will be in terms of specific people or relationships that might have been already put in front of you that didn't meet your previous belief systems that you either still hold or are just shedding. If you still hold them, it may still be a no. And maybe it is a no this year. And maybe somebody, maybe this cup will be gone, but maybe then the universe will bring forth a different cup, at the next cycle. Or whenever you either, well, typically if you're getting told that there's belief systems that need to change, then there's probably some kind of belief system that needs to change within you for your further growth. So they don't want me to get too much further into this, but just know that if you say no this year, it doesn't mean that the question is over forever, but do understand that time does continue to move on. People do have to continue to live their lives that aren't specifically you. So they want you really to look at the whole picture and to be sure of what you want, because what you send forward is what's going to come out for you. Now I'm not even sure we need clarification cards, but since they wanted me to do them, I wanted to clarify. Oh, okay, that does not count. Clarify the moon card for me, please, Heavenly Father. If it is your will, then you want us to have anything else on there. Oh. Again, some of this feeling of sadness and feeling alone and feeling upset is brought on by that another chariot. It's another chariot in reverse. So we've got the past energy and the manifesting is the chariot in the reverse. So somehow you manifested this, Aries. Somehow in your self-talk and your self-beliefs of thinking, I can't, I won't, I'm alone, I have to do it alone. I'm trying to think of any other, I can't move forward, I don't know how's, that sort of self-talk, that sort of self-doubt stuff. And there's thousands of ways that this can be manifested. But in manifesting this self-talk, you manifested your chariot, which ironically enough, God twisted into this because, well, God and you, because of your act of faith, you overcame the chariot and got to this, or are bringing forth this. It's not here yet, but this is what's coming forth for you. The other thing, clarifying this, this man, masculine moon energy, which for me just means, because women are, and this is going to hold true for Aries that are women too. This is just for me the masculine emotional energy, which means that it's more repressed. Whereas women, when they get emotional, we're usually all over the place and blah, and we cry, and some of us do, although I will say there's a lot of us now who have been taught very hard, don't cry in front of anybody, in which case we would show up as this would still be this. I will take ownership of this sort of energy when I cry. Very stuffed down, very I'm not going to show anybody anything kind of thing. And anybody ever knows that I cry, they better darn well be in my inner circle. So it's a masculine thought for me, because it's about repressed emotions. It's about stuffing them down and not letting anybody in and not letting anyone see. And that holds true whether you're a female or a male. This is a Naga. This is the snake woman. She seduces the men in with her her sexual energy. And this is a mythical creature, okay? I'm not saying that this is some woman that did this to you, but this is a mythical creature who seduces with her energy. And she does it by seducing with a sexual energy. And then when the man comes behind the curtain, he's typically killed. Right? So this is a thought process. This thought process, whatever it was, seduced you. It seduced the Aries into this sense of, right? And seduction is not always pleasant. It's just a little by little thing. So it might be one little thought, like it could be a good thought, like I can handle this all on my own, but it becomes so seductive to handle it all by your own, you fail to ask for help. Okay, it could be, and I don't know many Aries that do that. Most of them are wise enough to seek counsel when they need it, but it could be self-depreciating thoughts, but it's just one. It doesn't seem like it's a big deal, and then it just builds. So it's that kind of seductive energy, not in the fact that it's pleasant, but then it was slow growing. So whatever this was it was a slow growing kind of thing, and it was little by little, and it little by little took you away from manifesting the things that you wanted, thinking about the things that you wanted, being in the space that was the most desirable for you, and ending up in the stuck chariot energy. In some cases, it could have been an actual seduction, as in other people influencing you in other ways, maybe enticing you. But I really don't get that sort of energy, because she's not behind the curtain. Like in the mythology, she seduces with sex, and she's completely, like, with sensual energy, and she's completely hidden behind the curtain. And in all the mythology I've seen, she doesn't have her top on, or she has it so tight that, what it looks like is this naked woman. And she's so sexy that she just kind of shimmers, kind of like, like this behind the curtain. It's what you see in all the movies. And that's the seductive energy that kind of entices the person, usually the man, behind the curtain. And then, boom, she's got him. But she's completely out in the open. So this is not, I don't get the impression that this is so much somebody outwardly seducing somebody with something, as much as just little things that were said over time, little either self-talk or talk from other people that lulled you into a belief system that was not beneficial to you. It became your own. Of course it is your own. You own it. It's in your subconscious brain. It is in your mind. It is now yours to do with as you will, to keep, hold on to, change, transmute, throw away, do whatever, right? It is now yours, but it was not originally necessarily yours. This is a build up of little ideas and little energies that became a belief system, that became a big idea, that got you stuck in this chariot. Okay, that is the distinct impression I get, which is also why I think they're saying, that your cross right now, your challenge is the 10 of Cups on its side, because it's sorting out what you really believe, what you really want right now. Forget what you wanted in the past, because we've all been hurt in the past. We've all of us, I do not know one person who has not said, F love, I'm never getting married again, or I'm never falling in love again. Nor do I know anyone who's never ever said, I want to get married. I've never known anybody who's at one point, like consistently throughout their life, they've always been this, right? On most topics. We change as we grow. That's growth. We change as we go along. So I'm not saying what your belief is supposed to be. It's going to be different for everybody. What I'm saying is that this is a time, this chariot time that we're still in right now, we still have a little bit of time left. This is your time to figure out, what are my beliefs? What do I want as an individual? Not what does my pain say? Not just what my disbelief say. Not just what all of these ideas from everybody else say. But what do I want? What's in my heart? And this is really a heart card. It's what do I want? What's in my heart? Because clearly, if you've been depressed, if you've been crying, if you've been feeling stuck, clearly you don't have what you want yet. Clearly it's not there yet. So the question then is what do you want? Yes, there will be more opportunities. There will be more opportunities somewhere down the future. They just won't be the same as right now. But what you have to ask yourself, and I'm going to say this right, when the universe shows me this, and sometimes I don't know what is happening, But I so want to say, and I'm both so envious of you right now, Aries, and so also not, because I've been in this energy before. And when this happens, I always want to say, well, just show me what it is you have for me. Then let me decide. And they're always like, no, we're not going to tell you. You already know what it is, or it's right there in front of you. You just have to decide. They always leave it up to me. And then I always have to fix myself. And that's the hard part, is the fixing myself. But usually when they tell me, it's because the something good is right there. And if I would just freaking get over myself and listen, I would have it. Prime example, and I know this is getting kind of long, but I do want to express this because you are still in that window of opportunity to figure out what it is that you want, right? And it could change. You could decide you want something, just like we're going through a cycle now. You could decide you want something. So there's nothing to be afraid of. You could decide you want something. And then the next cycle, be back at this place and decide, okay, that's not what it didn't work out well. I didn't want that. Let me do something else, right? And then this opportunity will come again. But when this opportunity is here, when they're showing you, it is like when I was looking for a place to live 2 years ago, after my son passed, I kept getting guided. They kept telling me to go look in this specific area. And I don't want to give away certain areas or make anyone feel bad here in Arizona, so I won't. But they kept telling me to go look in this specific area. And I did not like the area. So I kept saying no. And I would not drive past a certain point on the avenue side, on the avenue and street side, right? So I had my parameters. I was going to go here to here, here to here. That's it. Anything outside of that box was not happening. And they kept asking me to trust. All they were asking me to do is drive 2 more miles, turn left, turn right, turn left again, and it would be right there. And I would not listen. Weeks went past, and I still didn't have a place to stay. Finally, they said, okay, it's already too late. The place we're showing you, it's too late. But will you at least go look at what we wanted to give you? And so I drove the mile past my parameter. I turned left. And I remember these directions very well because of this. I turned left. I turned right. 1 street up, I turned left. And they said it's right there on the right side. And it was the cutest little townhouse. And it was being done by a management company who was trying to keep the prices low for people to be able to afford it. It was in my budget. It was better than anything I had seen, and it was right up against a mountain. I walked out the back door and could have stepped onto the mountain. It was everything I had hoped for, dreamed of, wished for, everything. If I had $1 million, it's the kind of place I would have bought. It had the for rent sign. I called. It had been rented the day before. And I did not get that place because I was super stubborn. So all I'm saying to you, Aries, is take this time, go within, think about what you really, really want, because whatever they have in store for you, you don't want to miss it. Don't do that. I'm telling you right now. Not that I didn't end up in a place. I did. I ended up in a place, but I have some people that can tell you the neighbors were not the greatest. The management company was not the greatest. It was a crappy apartment. It was close to the mountain, but it wasn't on the mountain, and it was not nearly as nice. So I still was okay, but I could have been better, you know? And I will have more opportunities again, but I'm just saying, when they tell you that something's right there, something is right there. They've got something waiting for you right now. So decide what you want and manifest that. Okay? Is there anything else you want to clarify, God? I know we're getting on to almost 45 minutes here. It was actually 44, I think it was 44 when I started to say that. I'll have to go back and look at that. If that was 44, 44, I'm going to freak myself out because that's kind of weird. Okay, the Ten of Cups. This Chariot's different for everybody. How you ended up in the Chariot and what you were doing during the Chariot was different for everybody. They want me to say something about the Ten of Cups. And the Ace of Pentacles. Somehow, the Ace of Pentacles is about having faith, which you've already taken that step. Otherwise, this wouldn't be here. But it's also about the purity of the heart and financial stability. Or stability, whatever creates your stability. And again, stability is not always about money. We think of it that way, but money is just a means to an end. Money is how we get the roof over our head, the car that we use, whatever makes us feel safe and stable and secure. Okay. Please give me a message, Heavenly Father, if you want me to have one for the Ten of Cups. The Hermit. Take some time to go within. Take some time to really, truly learn yourself. And it is about going within. This man is very learned. See all of his books right there? But he's put them all aside. He's put all of that aside to just contemplate. I always see this is like your power, your internal energy. That spark within you that gives you your strength, your knowledge, your essence of who you are. It's like a spark of soul. And that's what he's focusing on. That's what he's looking at. Their message to you, Aries, is to go within. To really go within and figure out what you want. Because something really beautiful is coming. And they want me to emphasize that even though the cycles repeat each year, there are cycles that only repeat every 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. And we're coming up upon a very important time of history. I've gone over in some of my other readings about this year was about couples communication, learning to communicate with people in general, but learning to communicate as a couple, masculine and feminine energy, and learning to balance that and communicate. You're basically connecting your head and your heart within yourself, but learning to communicate as a couple on the outside. The year previous, 2020, was the feminines learning to set their boundaries, learning to know themselves, learning to be more harmonious within themselves, and learning to enhance their own communication skills. Masculines, it was the year before. They were learning to be supportive and nurturing and caring and learning to communicate in a better way. And then when these 2 years had passed, because you can't do this unless you've learned these, right? So individually, the masculines were learning to be better masculines, to be more empathic, more compassionate, and more understanding, more supportive. The feminines then were learning to be more logical, more supportive, more set their boundaries, and also still be compassionate to the masculines. And then this year was about integrating those 2 forms of styles of communication, so that the couples could communicate together. Now, not everybody was in a couple, but that might express itself through one particular best friend or a person at work, or a mother to son, or father to daughter, although those lessons are going to be best learned in a couple, just because of other things that happen there. The couples are typically closer, more compassion can be had. You're going to be protective of each other in a way that you wouldn't necessarily with somebody else, intimate with each other in ways that you wouldn't necessarily be with other people on an intellectual level. So what God is saying is that, and I don't understand this part yet because he is not giving me this lesson yet, but apparently now that we are passing that cycle, we're getting ready to enter into a whole new level of cycles. And these cycles are going to last for the next 5 and 10 years, respectively. So you'll have like a cycle of something that's going to have last 5 years. Whatever happens with that within that 5 years is going to affect the next 5 years. So whatever you choose right now, for all of us, whatever we choose right now is going to have a very powerful effect on our lives, and potentially long lasting. So even though, yes, something might be offered up next year, it won't be the same. And this is a particular message, especially for couples, especially couples that are struggling with these things that might seem like outside factors that are causing problems with their belief system and whether or not this marriage is going to work and whether or not it should be strengthened. Just know that the partner that you've been learning and growing with for the last 3 years, where you're at, if you can look back and say, we've made a lot of progress, then don't let outside factors determine your belief systems for what you want right now. Don't let the world so easily tear apart what you have built. Because it is not easy to build a good marriage. It is not easy to build a strong connection with someone. Don't let the outside world take that away. Right? Because at the end of the day, love is more important. Love will top everything. Money comes and goes. Jobs come and go. You can choose to have children later with adoption. You can choose not to, and if you choose, almost any obstacle can be overcome if you guys have learned to communicate. But once you have learned to communicate, and once that bond and that foundation is strong, everything else can come and go. If that foundation is strong, it will withstand the test of time. If you have a strong foundation, you won't ever have to worry about finding someone else again. But there are a lot of couples right now that are struggling, and they have to figure out what it is that they want. And especially, I'm getting that's especially strong with you, Aries. Aries is because of this test, because this was your energy. This was the test that Aries were supposed to go through. So you have to decide what it is you really, really want. You have the ability here. You have the tools. You've already had this leap of faith that is leading to this beautiful pentacle. Now you just have to decide what you really want in the rest of it. Think of this as head. You're bringing forth the head. What do you want from the heart? Do you want this? Right? And I froze those cards wrong. I'm not saying you're not getting this. Again, great leap of faith. You're bringing forth your stability, your pentacles. But the rest of it, this communication, this love part, do you want that? You have to decide that before this next cycle to determine who, what, when, why, and how that's going to come about. Or if it's already in your life, to recognize it and to decide, okay, what's happening next. So that's what the request is of you, is to go within, go into the hermit mode, think long and hard about what you want. And again, yes, the belief systems that are in your mind now, they're your belief systems, but they're asking you to think really hard about, where did those come from? Are those your belief systems because it's truly what your belief system is in your heart, really in your heart, with every single thing that you know and everything you are? Do your belief systems align with what you want? Or are those belief systems because of pain and heartache that you haven't let go of, that are twisting other things? Or are they because of words, actions, and deeds of other people that you have watched that have kind of formed your belief system for you? And a belief system is different than what we want in our heart. So they're not asking, what is your belief system? They're not asking, now they're getting adamant. They're not asking, do you believe this will work? Because they're telling you, if you have faith, just like they're bringing you this pentacle, if you have faith, they will bring you the whole kit and caboodle. It's quantum physics. It's science. If you believe it will work, it will work. If you can believe it is possible, it is possible. So they're not asking you what you believe. They want you to figure out. They know you have some beliefs. That's what the problem is. They're trying to express to you that those beliefs, some of them are not. They're not from your own head and heart in terms of what you want. They're beliefs formed on clouded visions of what was in our past. The pain that we experienced. And then we bring that forth and we say, oh, well, we experienced it that once, so it's always going to be true. The problems that other people put into our heads, their belief systems, their pains, whether we see them or whether they say them to us. They're not asking what you believe. They want you to go within, and they're asking you what you want. You have an opportunity to decide what you want. And it's a very, very, very strong message, because they clearly have something planned for you. And trust me, I am still regretting that I did not get to. I know I'm not there now. I'd still be right where I am right now. Maybe I'd still be in that apartment. That would be awesome. But I wouldn't have had to go through all the horrors and the troubles and the tribulations that I had to go through in the apartment I was in if I had just gone a mile up, turn left, turn right, turn left, and been there. You see what I'm saying? So I'm telling you, if they're saying this, there is something amazing that they are holding on to for you. You may already know what it is. You may already see it right in front of you, and you may be going, oh no, but I can't. And that's a choice. But if you don't know it, like me, if you're still flying blind for some reason, go within either way. Ask yourself, what do you want? Because right now is the time. We're coming up on some new seasons apparently, and don't get too scared about that. Believe me, I'm terrified when they say that to me, because I am nowhere near where I want to be. God knows. But I know that when you go into the hermit mode, when you really think about what you want, and you put that out there to the universe, that that's quantum entanglement, quantum physics. What you put out is what comes back. So anyway, on that note, I'm going to end this, and I'll be doing Pisces shortly.